So you said that sometimes you need a day to lie in bed, and it sounds like you're starting to accept that it's okay to take that day when you need it.
Hmm.
And that seems like progress, and I'm really glad to hear you say that. I know that the effects of the assault, they have been really challenging, but you have been finding supports and resources to help you cope with those. Like you're here today and you made the effort to come in, and I thank you for that.
Thank
I know last week you said that you were going to go to your family doctor
you. Hmm.
and talk to him about going on some antidepressants. Were you able to go in to see him?
Yeah, I was able to go in. I saw him. I got a prescription, which was really great. Um, I wanted to tell my parents about it. Well, I guess I did, and I guess that didn't go super great.
Okay. So do you want to tell me a little more about that?
Yeah. So I I like to be as open with my parents as possible, and they are like really good to me and stuff. So I thought, that starting on this medication would be like a really good step with all the stuff that's been going on. So I told them that like, hey, like I went to the doctor, I got this prescription. It should be helping with this type, like my anxiety and stuff. But um, my mom she made like a really like surprising response, and then it was kind of like, oh, we can't really. I was like, okay, I can't really have a conversation with her about it. Basically, she's like, like anxiety is like made up, um, and stuff, and it was kind of just like really hard to hear. So I just like disengaged from the conversation, and left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds very challenging. I know that your mom is a really big support for you and a very important person in your life, and it sounds like she didn't give you the response that you were hoping for.
Yeah, no, basically she said that like anxiety is just like a made up thing by middle class white girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you feel when she said that?
I felt like I've let her down. Like she's like such a strong, badass woman, and I just feel like I can't ever live up to that, and I just like I've just disappointed her.
And was your dad present at the time that you guys had this conversation?
Yeah, he was like in the room. Um, my mom is definitely like the stronger personality and usually will take the lead on these types of conversations. But yeah, he was there.
Okay. And how did he react?
He didn't really like react in the moment, like, but like after I left, he kind of just like texted me like, "Oh, like, hey, are you okay?" Um, but I didn't really like respond.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I just didn't want to talk about it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah,
And when you say you left after this comment was made, where did you go?
I just went to my boyfriend's house. Yeah.
So, if we were thinking about the people that you reach out to for support, I know that you have a close relationship with your parents, and your boyfriend you've mentioned is a really big support for you. So, would you say that those are three of the most important people for you?
Yeah, and like I guess like what they think of me like does mean a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay. And what do you think that your dad thinks of you?
like we've always had a really strong relationship, and like for like most dads, he's like super like compassionate, and like we've always been really close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like and my mom and I are close too, but it's different.
Okay.
Yeah,
What do you mean by different?
like with my dad, it's just like it's so much easier. We're a lot more similar. He's just like a lot just like easier to talk to, whereas my mom like it's funny because like my dad's easier to talk to, but my mom is like my role model, and it's just like she like rules the house, and everybody looks up to her, and she's just such a strong leader, and it's just hard to hear that like I'm not like she doesn't think I'm good enough for her.
So it sounds like you really look up to your mom,
Hmm.
and it sounds like you're feeling like you might have let her down
Yeah.
by going on medication.
Mhm.
So if we're going to delve into that a little bit more, whenever your mom made this comment about anxiety being a made up thing, If you were to think about why she might have said that, what do you think?
I guess like because like she's so strong, I feel like it's like she doesn't think I'm as like strong as her because I'm giving into this thing that like that she doesn't think is real.
Okay. So you think she doesn't think that anxiety is a real thing?
And then that means like, well, then if I have this thing that isn't real, then clearly she doesn't like think like I'm doing well or like doing enough.
And just to clarify for me, you have talked to your mom about other things that you've been coping with, and you have reached out to her for support. She is informed on your course of treatment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like she has been really supportive along the way, um, and that's why I guess this kind of took me as like surprise.
Hmm.
I thought like it would be something that she thought would be like more of a like oh like that's a good like positive step, but then it kind of just like oh well maybe this is just what she really thinks about me.
So it wasn't the answer that you were expecting.
Yeah.
So whenever we did the thought record just a few minutes ago, something that I explored was a alternative thought,
Mhm.
and we talked about that for what happened last week. But I also want to offer you an alternative thought for what your mom might be thinking, what her motivations might be for why she said this. Does that sound okay? Yeah. So from what I've heard about your mom, from what you've shared with me in our past sessions, she does sound like a very strong woman.
Mhm.
And she does sound like a support for you and that she really cares for you deeply. And she wants to see you do well. And she wants you to feel better.
Yeah.
So from what you've told me, it sounds like her reaction might be less that she doesn't believe in anxiety and more that she doesn't know how to react because it hurts her that you're hurting and that there isn't more that she can do to support you, and she wishes that there was. And I think that took her by surprise, and she wasn't sure how to respond in that moment.
Yeah. Yes, that makes sense. Like I feel like maybe it's kind of like maybe she thinks that like the drinking and the cocaine stuff, it's like well obviously like that's gonna make me act differently and stuff, but it's like I don't think she realizes that it's like I use those things to like cover up like how I'm feeling because we haven't really talked about like how I'm feeling more like what I'm doing.
Right.
So and like maybe she's like burnt out by me.
So, if your mom was sitting here with us right now, what would you want her to know?
I would want her to know that by me like going and like getting this prescription, it's like I'm trying to make it better for everyone, like and actually like do something like healthy. And I want it to be viewed like I'm doing something that it's like if I'm less anxious, then I'm hoping that that means I'm going to be less like prone to drinking and like I'm just going to be able to get through the days a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, I wanted to see that it's like no, like this is a good thing.
So, at the time that this comment was made, you said that you disengaged and you left afterwards. How would you feel about talking to your mom about all this? Do you feel like that's an option?
Like kinda, it's just that like she can just be like really intimidating. Like she's like this big personality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like kind of hard to like talk to her about more like the how I'm feeling. That's more like with my dad.
Right. Okay. So would it be helpful for you if, in our session, we talk about how you might be able to go about having this conversation with your mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Because I know that your mom, like we said, is a really big support, and you're going through a lot of changes in your life while you're adjusting and coping. And I want to do what I can to support you so that your needs are being met, and she can give you that support that you need as well. So let's just explore this a little more about if you were to go back to the time of that incident and your mom made this comment, what would you say?